Broncos play on 4 because we got game.
We come to you from Jack Kent Cooke Stadium in Rowjon, Maryland, suburbs of Washington, D.C., getting ready for the third quarter. The Broncos jumped out to a 17-0 lead. The Redskins came back and scored one, threatened to score another. Now down by 10. Expectations for the third quarter.
Well, it's all about the third quarter if you're the Washington Redskins. I mean, stats-wise, they're ahead. What else is new with the Washington Redskins? But they've been outscored 42-7 in the first 3 games in the third quarter. That's 2 reasons. 1, the mistakes, the dumb mistakes, of which we've seen a few. And 2, conditioning is when it starts to show in the third quarter. We'll see in this hot day how that comes. But look at total yards, 230 yards. Time of possession, they're actually up on them. But they've made the big mistakes which have really, really hurt them. Whether it's penalties to cost themselves a field goal, or when you look at the big plays of the first half, it's pretty obvious where they were coming. Bubby Brister escaping the pressure, McCaffrey making a nice catch, and then taking advantage of an offense. You get the right blitz, you get pressure from Romanowski, and Darian Gordon takes us one the distance for another touchdown. And late, a mistake, driving the ball. You've shown the pride, you've shown some poise, you've shown you can do it, but you make the mistake. Trevor Price intercepting Trent Green.
An all too familiar story for the Redskins, now minus 10 turnovers for the season for Bubby Brister. Nice conservative game plan, the terrific opening march as he learned late that he would start in place of John Elway today. It's Brister's first start as a quarterback since 1995 when he was with the Jets.
You saw what that offense had done in the first half, 160-something odd yards. 136 of them were in the first quarter. So the defense for the Redskins did a nice job on Mike Shanahan's offense. So this is what they have to do coming out, is right now, go, establish a tone, establish a pace.
John Elway came out, tried to go, went through the pregame warm-ups and said, nope, not today. Here's the kick by Kerry Blanchard. Taken by Vaughn Hebron inside the 5. He's got a lot of room. And here goes Hebron. Out to the 45, down at the 47-yard line.
Yeah, one of the running jokes on the special teams of Rick Dennison's and the Denver Broncos is the fact that no one has returned a kickoff for a touchdown since 1972 for the Denver Broncos. And here when Devon Hebron catches the ball to the right, the middle return is set up very well. The blocking is excellent. He starts to come into the clear and then realizes that traffic is the best place to be. This one won't be broken also, but great field position for Bubby in the offense.
In contrast to that, the Redskins gave up a 90-yard kickoff return to Steve Broussard at Seattle last week. They're dead last in the league in kickoff return coverage. Here's Brister into the flat to Rod Smith. And he is out of bounds at the 46-yard line. We check in with Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Vern. Well, at halftime, Mike Shanahan told me his team sure started off well, but after going up 17-0, they lost momentum. He simply wants his players to regain their focus and their energy. As for North Turner, he wants his team to just keep fighting. He said, we can't continue to self-destruct once we get inside the 30-yard line. Back up to you guys.
All right, Michelle, 2nd down and 3 from the Washington 46 now, the first drive of the third quarter.
Concentrating and intensity are not light switches. You don't turn them on and off. You show flaws when once you've lost it, you have another mental fade that costs you a big play.
Fake toss, Brister rolls right, looks back to his left, goes across the middle, incomplete for Shannon Sharp, well covered by Ken Harvey. And it will be 3rd down.
And Mike Nolan's the defensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins, and he does not have a real attacking defense. It's not a real blitz at all costs, give you all kinds of crazy looks like Greg Robinson will on the other side for the Broncos. And what Nolan is doing so far is he's really attacking this offense for the Denver Broncos with a base look, getting good pressure inside from his tackles.
Willie Green goes wide to the left. This is Rod Smith in motion. Blitz coming. They flip it out for Terrell Davis, who moves down the sidelines after he controls the football. Marv Fitzpatrick makes the tackle, but Davis picks up a first down.
Just another thing, that this running back, Terrell Davis, out of the University of Georgia, impressed from the first day he got to the Denver Broncos in the fact that he could block, he could catch out of the backfield, he didn't mind playing special teams. He presented Mike Shanahan a total package. over a couple-word period, Mike Shanahan began to appreciate how total the package was, and he became a starter.
Double tight end set on first down. McCaffrey out of the backfield. They hand it off to Davis, and he goes left. And he got a huge block. Here's Terrell Davis. Stanley Richard tries to catch him, does, too late. Touchdown. TD. That's his 6th of the season. This one comes on a 42-yard romp.
Bernie, we talked about the edges of the defense being a problem. The analogy that fits it is the banana. The banana has to be sitting one way with the ends tipped up. That means nothing can spill over the edges. But if the banana is turned the other way, that means everything spills off the edges of the banana. And the edges were spilling down on that banana.
That analogy came to us with Stanley Richard yesterday, and he said, we're having trouble on the corners containing the run. You saw an example of it. Jason Elam's extra point is up and good. Terrell Davis gets his 6th touchdown on the ground in 1998.
All right, Captain, we're going to have a coin toss now. If there's a team, we'll call it in the air. We want a good, clean game. We're all professionals here. Does anyone have change for $1?
What? Want to get away? Southwest has your ticket to freedom with Southwest Airlines fun fares that begin at $39.
You are now free to move about the country.
It's been totally re-engineered and redesigned with more safety features, more performance, more luxury, and more power than ever before. Introducing the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee. The most capable sport utility ever.
They created their microprocessor in 1971, and the faster their chips have performed, the faster their company has grown. Today, the Intel design is the brains behind the majority of the world's PCs. By the 21st century, their chip could execute 2 billion instructions in 1 second. Where do you learn about such fast-thinking companies? Exactly. NASDAQ.com.
New challenges, an ER full of nerve gas victims, new doctors, a new season of hope. Chicago Hope, CBS Wednesday.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Redskin defensive tackles on the bench. That time, Terrell Davis got to the outside. And a 42-yard run gives Washington a 24-7 lead. Here's the kick from Jason Elam. That chases Brian Mitchell all the way back in to the end zone. Now let's go back for a banana lesson. Randy?
Well, Stanley Richards talked about the banana. You mentioned it. The ends have to be like this. These guys and these guys have to make the end of the banana go up. What happens? The banana ends up being bent the other way. Watch the inside of the defense press forward, and suddenly the banana breaks, and it breaks on the ends, and it breaks on the outside. And Terrell Davis goes 38 yards before someone finally gets a hand on him, but it's all too little too late.
With the run, Terrell Davis doubles his output for the day. He's now got 84. And here is Terry Allen trying to break through. Neil Smith, who is back in the lineup after a knee injury in the first half, made the tackle. Providing today's shots from above is the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. The Goodyear Blimp, now in its 4th decade of live sports coverage. And we are in Raljohn, Maryland, this marvelous new Jack Kent Cooke Stadium in its 2nd year of operation. First visit for us. Kind of nice.
It's a beautiful stadium. I just wish for Mr. Cooke, and Jack Kent Cooke was extremely hands-on involved building this. I just sort of hope the Redskins and their fans had a better team to put in this beautiful stadium.
Here's Stephen Davis out of the backfield, comes left, and gets it out to the 29-yard line. The tackle made by John Mobley and Steve Atwater, a couple of the iron cogs in this Redskin defense.
We talked about how critical the third quarter is to the Redskins. Coming into this game being outscored 42-7, in the third quarter. Now 49-7, being outscored in the third quarter. Trent Green in the offense needs to start padding the backside. You see, the stats aren't bad for Trent Green. It's the interceptions and the mistakes that have hurt the offense. They've had the poise and the patience. They've been effective.
3rd and 1, Washington. Up the middle, that'll move the chains, and there's a flag, so it might not. That might come back. Oh, boy, they have a hammer lock on the self-destruct button.
That has got holding written all over it.
Norv Turner in his 5th season as the head coach
holding.
here.
Number 77, offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
In case you're keeping track there, Trey Johnson, 77, the left guard, is now up to 30 yards and penalties called against him. If you do this in any part of the football field, you don't want to do it here. 3rd and 1. It wasn't severe. Trevor Price wasn't being manhandled. But you grab a guy by the outside shoulder, you pull him back like that, the umpire's going to see it, they're going to throw the flag. That is a dumb mistake. That's a lack of discipline. That starts from the head down.
3rd and 11, and it will be 4th and about 5. So yet again, the penalties proved deadly to the Washington Redskins. And the ire of the crowd begins to spill forth. Norv Turner, as we said, in his 5th season, he signed a contract extension, so he is under contract through 2001. There's been a lot of speculation in this town about his future. I chatted with him as recently as before the game. He says he doesn't feel like he's under the gun. Now, at the end of the year, maybe, if they don't turn this thing around.
Somebody around here needs to kick some of these guys in the backside and get their undivided attention, because they're not paying attention.
A 45-yard punt, nothing on the return. Broncos rolling 24-7.
With some of the most advanced safety systems ever engineered into a 4x4, including QuadraDrive, our most advanced four-wheel drive system ever, and an all-new quick-response steering system, it's no wonder the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee is one of the safest ways to cross treacherous terrain. The all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most capable sport utility ever.
You never know what your next job is going to be. One day it's a house, the next it's a hotel.
Jobs keep getting bigger, deadlines keep getting shorter.
It's got to last 1,000,000 years. Stand up to anything.
Turnaround times, they're insane.
Whatever it is, wherever it is, make something great. Stanley.
Earth to Stephanie. What? It's like your mind is 1,000,000 miles away.
At Unisys, our people can't stop working on innovative ways to solve our clients' problems.
Is there something you want to talk about?
So even now, she's still thinking about a networking solution for a bank in Hong Kong.
Of course.
Because when we set out to do something, we really get into it. Unisys. We eat, sleep, and drink this stuff.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Air, Jeep, and by Stanley.
Well, new episode of Everybody Loves Raymond coming up on Monday night. We invite you to stay tuned for the well-loved comedy Everybody Loves Raymond, Monday, 9 o'clock, 8 Central. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. First time I saw this was New Orleans.
New Orleans. It's become sort of the trend, but I think that about sums it up.
Yeah.
I mean, new building or not, this is not a very disciplined football team. This is a team making a lot of stupid mistakes. And it's not only the coaches and the organization's fault, it's also the players.
1st and 10, Bobby Brister and the Broncos. Brister, his first start in a Denver uniform, but the 3rd week in which he has played. John Elway with the injured hamstring in week 2 against Dallas. and then re-injured the hamstring in week 3 against Oakland. Tried to come out, went through warm-ups today. Brister telling us last night that he got not a majority of the reps, but a lot of the repetitions in practice the last 2 weeks.
It's so critical, too, because it's a tough situation to be a backup quarterback in the NFL. It's probably a little bit easier to be a backup quarterback in Denver or San Francisco or some of these places that have the all-time great-time quarterbacks like a John Elway. Bubby knows he's not a guy. But when he gets an injury and a chance to play, he knows he can get his reps.
2nd and 9. Handoff. Terrell Davis comes right and cut down to the 24-yard line. Well, we were chatting with both Howard Griffin and Terrell Davis last night about how they have maintained discipline among the team. So they've instituted a fine system among themselves. This is not something that started with the coaching staff. And it's automatic. You get a fine if you miss an assignment, if you drop a ball in practice. And Howard Griffin said the real fine, though, is when you debate the call. You get fined for sensitivity. Double the money.
I imagine they got some guys like Shannon Sharp that can be very sensitive about being fined.
Yes. 3rd and 7. Brister looking left all the way. Fires it for Shannon Sharp. And he picks up a 1st down out to the 33-yard line. The tackle made by Marcus Patton. And a 9-yard gain.
Nice pattern run by Shannon Sharp, though. He lines up at the right tight end position, comes straight across the field. Watch it. The defense rolls backwards. It's a zone defense. Why not drag your great tight end underneath and let's see what he can do. Nice job by Willie Green blocking on Darryl Green on the corner, and that sets up those last couple of yards for Shannon Sharp. But it's just one of the things they do with this offense. It's not just down the field. It's not just little outs. They drag receivers around. They make defenses make decisions.
5 receptions now for Sharp. Bit of a play fake for Bristol. Goes deep right side for McCaffrey. And he's got Chris Dishman beat. Chris Dishman bit on the pump. And McCaffrey makes the grab. A 41-yard gain, Brister to McCaffrey.
It was excellent protection. It's a nice pass, but Ed McCaffrey showed you some of that transformation from the possession-type receiver they thought he was to the receiver he is now, which is a receiver with the ability to what they refer to in the business as play a cornerback. And Dishman, 26, the cornerback, has been played by McCaffrey.
41 yards, 1st down at the 26, and a 24-7 lead. Terrell Davis looking for his 3rd 100-yard game of the season, and he adds another 6 or 7 as he gets to the 16-yard line.
Leomon Evans was the last resort of defense there that Terrell Davis barreled into. Remember, yeah, it becomes so commonplace to us now, especially in this business, that watch Terrell Davis on a regular basis, 100 yards. Here's a guy that's just in his, going into his 4th year. He's got 22 100-yard games so far in his very brief NFL career.
Well, he's 4 yards away from his 23rd in his 49th game. Here's Terrell Davis. And he's going to have to wait till the next carry to cross the 100-yard mark.
One thing that makes that more interesting to me, too, is a 1,000-yard rusher is a big deal in the league. You know, for a running back to get 1,000 yards, that's a huge deal. Figure it out. If you got a calculator or you're good at long math or whatever, divide 1,000 by 16. Comes out to be a little over 60 yards a game. That's not that big of a deal. I mean, a guy like Terrell Davis can get 60 yards in a run, which he did twice against the Dallas Cowboys. 60-yard plus a couple weeks ago at Mile High Stadium.
Gets a breather here. Derek LaVille comes into the backfield on 1st down. 24-7 Denver. Play action. Brister into the flat. Howard Griffin. Touchdown for the 2nd week in a row. And a flag is thrown after the score is accomplished. Stanley Richard, number 24, was covering.
Well, this was double dumb. First dumb move is they run this play action.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 24, late hit out of bounds. That penalty was assessed on the kickoff.
First one is there's nobody out there to cover the receiver. That's stupid. Then you're so frustrated because you didn't get over there or no one got over there, you hit the guy out of bounds. That is double stupid.
Now Jason Elam to try and add 1 point to the lead. Tom Ruin will hold it for the extra point try. Jared Griffith in his second season with the Denver Broncos gets his second touchdown in as many games from Bubby Brister.
Basically, I guess my job is to break stuff. We try to think of everything that a customer might do and try that against the software. How do we not lose our traction on the live and stuff? If we find something, then we can make it better. Because once the customer gets the software, it needs to work. Okay, so the automation software is tough to make, but our job is to make it the best it can be.
Day 82. Coldest day yet. Even the dogs won't move. Still no radio contact and supplies are running low.
I brought you some cookies and some nice hot cocoa. Bye-bye, dear.
No matter how bad conditions get, there are a few things you can always count on. The Go Anywhere Jeep Cherokee is just one of them. Now get a Cherokee and get all these features at no extra charge.
Neil, did you eat your chunky soup?
Huh?
Neil, did you eat your chunky soup?
Yeah, man. Chunky sirloin burger with loads of vegetables and lots of beefy sirloin burgers grilled to perfection.
Neil, did you eat your chunky soup?
Why do you keep saying that? Mama.
Gotta make sure you eat good.
Campbell's Chunky Sirloin Burger. It's loaded with beef.
What's up, kids?
Hey, mind if I play?
Right. Find out how you can play youth football in your town. Call 1-800-NFL-SNAP.
Well, there will be no fines for these guys. Howard Griffith, Terrell Davis, another touchdown, and it's 31-7 Denver. Elam will kick off. The Washington Redskins' second half woes continue. They've now been outscored by 49 points in the third quarters of 4 games.
You know the term chum? You throw chum in the water to draw fish. Watch Sterling Sharp, or Shannon Sharp, now known as Chum, draw the entire side of the Washington Redskins defense. Look at this. 4 guys right in the same area. Hey, see that guy there? They're giving him the ball.
That could have been Sterling Sharp and Shannon Sharp.
Well, they both would have been all open. Bubby getting a little excited. Give that man pom-poms.
First down and 10, Redskins. Here's Trent Green. Out it goes to Jamie Asher, the tight end. He is down at the 28-yard line. Tackle made by John Mobley, number 51. Well, we continue our coverage of college football next Saturday, the NASDAQ college football game. 4th-ranked Tennessee goes into Auburn. That's Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern time here on CBS.
I live in the South now in Atlanta, home of that religion known as college football.
Yes. They think it's serious. But you're still a Bruin at heart, right?
Oh, absolutely.
2nd and 1. This one pops out. Whistle had blown. Marvin Washington, Glenn Cudrez. And by the way, congratulations to you. Randy Cross is being inducted into the UCLA Athletics Hall of Fame next Saturday in Los Angeles. That's a well-deserved honor.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. It was a great school that's always been known as a basketball school for a long time when I was there. Started to get the program back under Dick Vermeil and Terry Donahue, who works for CBS on those college games we're talking about. And Bob Toledo now has got that program back where it belongs. They're looking excellent. They played Washington State last week after an unexpected bye, where we're supposed to play Miami yesterday down there, but because of Hurricane George, they canceled all that.
Yeah, the George hurricane wiped out the UCLA-Miami game.
Well, our thoughts, too, go out to those people down there in Louisiana and New Orleans area, but
it's headed. Rod Milstead limped off. Here's Trent Green. And he completes that pass for a first down on the right side to Michael Westbrook, number 82.
Now, we haven't seen much from Westbrook in the last, 2.5 quarters? He's generally a guy you want to involve early. You want to get him out down the field. It's the second time, both times against Ray Crockett. It was basically just a deep out on the sideline. They've gotten the ball to Michael Westbrook. He's a guy, you've got to get him involved. Came into the game as one of the top receivers in the NFL early, and it's just the mistakes and some things around this organization and this football team, you know, with my background sort of watching the team under Gibbs and the great Redskin teams, just doesn't jive. This does not look like a Redskins football team.
Well, they have had, among other things, disastrous first-round choices in the 90s. Michael Westbrook, one of only 2 since 92, still with the ball club. I guess the litany of 4 choices begins with Desmond Howard. Goes on to Andre Johnson, Tom Carter. Michael Westbrook is with the ball club. So is Kennard Lang, but it's not been a really nice list. Ray Crockett makes the tackle. And Terry Allen with the carry.
Well,
So,
this whole situation, Vern's got to be especially frustrating to guys like Terry Allen, the veterans that have been here for a while. Terry Allen, Darryl Green. You see Darryl Green is on the sideline talking to the players a lot in the timeouts. When the offense is on the sideline before a kickoff, he's on there talking to the offense, getting them pumped up. Terry Allen's trying to lead by example, but those many examples, like the great ones, like the Allens and the future Hall of Famer Darryl Green, just is not working.
Max blitz, here they come. Romanowski, that's a fumble, a loose ball. Jamie Asher, I think, recovered, but Bill Romanowski knifed through, made the initial contact on Trent Green, and another near disaster.
Well, this is the leanest, best conditioned defending Super Bowl champion team I have ever seen, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and especially when you're looking at a guy like Romanowski. Completely clean. Completely clean. No one even breathes on him. Bad Badger, the left tackle on the left side of that line, doesn't get a head, doesn't get a helmet on him. And against athletes that are this well conditioned and this intense, you're going to get somebody killed.
3rd and 12, 4-man rush coming. Green being chased, goes right. Mahatanabasu almost had him, and Green, nice job. And that last little move to the left allows him, I think, to pick up a first down.
Well, the critical part there, Vern, is his quarterbacks would slide feet first, the ball be marked where the feet started to go down. Trent Green goes down forward. He gets the pressure. It's coming from Tanavasa inside. Trevor Price on the outside, who just cannot quite get him. But watch the forward leap for that first down. I mean, John Elway, remember the helicopter move in the Super Bowl last year and how the players said how much that pumped them up? You see your quarterback make those kinds of moves where he's giving up his body. That shows you how much he cares.
First down and 10. Green back again. Screen pass, left side. Terry Allen has to go down to the ankles. He fumbles and then picks it up. Oh, boy. Looks like bumper pool.
Keith Burns comes from that inside backer position and just barely got a hand on Terry Allen. Screen set up fairly well. Tanavasa is getting in Trent Green's face, but Caroline does a nice job. Now watch Burns. That ball's coming out before Burns even gets near him. That's mental. Folks, that is not a physical error. That's not where, well, the point of the ball was a little slick or whatnot. That is not concentrating.
Second down, 3. 31-7 Denver. Reverse. Westbrook to Leslie Shepard. Here comes Shepard. He's got 2 blockers in front, including Corey Raymer. And they get the ball down to the 12-yard line. A 29-yard gain after Westbrook slipped the ball to Leslie Shepard.
Well, we have trickery. But watch Trent Green on this play. For all the movement back and forth, you've got the fake here to him. You got the handoff from Westbrook to Shepard. Look at Trent Green getting a little block on Tanavasa. You dive forward for the first down, and when it comes time for you to throw a block, you give it up a little bit. Yeah, there's a little cringe in there. He's not nuts about it, but he's willing to go in there and get it. Sometimes you just got to be willing to be an obstacle.
Stephen Davis in the backfield now gets the handoff, and he is jammed hard by Seth Joyner, number 99, longtime pro, who was acquired from Green Bay just before the start of the regular season. Seth Joyner, who spent all those marvelous years with the Eagles, then with Arizona. He followed Buddy Ryan down there. Thought he was going to get a Super Bowl ring, and how the ironies abound. Went to Green Bay, did not get the Super Bowl ring last year and now winds up with a Bronco team that's trying to get a second.
And a great player like a Seth Joyner loves to see a running back leave their feet like that. They lose all their power, and they're just waiting, begging to get planted.
Pass for Alexander. That was, I think, catcher. CBS Sportsline puts you inside the game. From late-breaking news and in-depth team reports to sortable stats, get 24-hour NFL coverage on cbs.sportsline.com.
The best thing about that sportsline.com, you being a neophyte computer guy,
yes,
are newspaper articles, and they've got some great people writing stuff for teams and situations all around the league, and then AP type wire.
Hey, I'm going to join the 20th century before it's over. I'm getting there.
You're running out of time.
I know. Well, and years. First the eyes, then the ears. 31-7.
It's been totally re-engineered and redesigned with more safety features, more performance, more luxury, and more power than ever before. Introducing the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee. The most capable sport utility ever.
Are you concerned about losing more hair? Do you wonder how much further it will go? Do you wish you could do something about it? Well, now there's a pill for men with certain types of hair loss. Introducing Propecia. In clinical studies, the vast majority of men, 83%, maintain their current hair count, and most, 66%, regrew some hair. Take it daily and you could see results in as little as 3 months. Propecia is for men only. A small number of men experience certain sexual side effects. Each occurred in less than 2% of men. Women who are or may potentially be pregnant must not use it or handle broken tablets because of the risk of a specific kind of birth defect. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist and read the consumer information they can provide. Propecia, helping make hair loss history.
Enterprise? Hi, I'm at the repair shop. I need to rent a car.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up,
This is great.
drive you to our place, and get you on your way. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
It starts with a whistle and ends with a gun. This is pro football. I am a very attractive man.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Microsoft and by Propecia.
We are not far from the Iwo Jima Memorial in downtown Washington. We're at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium in Ralston, Maryland, named by the late Jack Kent Cooke for his two sons, Ralph and John. John, now the owner of the club, and in attendance here today. Third down. Here's Green back to throw. This is the 11th play of the drive, and a sack and a fumble. This is Neil Smith. And there's the salute to George Brett that he kept even after he came over to from Kansas City.
And they've never played baseball in this stadium, Neil. In the old RFK Stadium, the Senators, maybe. You could buy that. But what a nice job. Neil Smith's knee is obviously feeling a little bit better because he cleanly beats on the outside. Number 67, Pordennick.
Kerry Blanchard on to try the field goal. Remember, a long, long time ago, he had made one. It was wiped out by a penalty. And so here is Blanchard's attempt, and this one is good. But that is small solace after a long drive by the Redskins. They need a bunch of threes to get back in this ball game. 31-10.
Per generazioni la famiglia Capeci ha prodotto il miglior olio d'oliva di tutta l'Umbria. All'improvviso il mondo è cambiato. Globalizzazione, tragedia.
Perché piangi?
E piango perché tu devi partire per salvare la famiglia.
Ma nonna, c'è un modo nuovo di fare le cose. Io non devo partire.
Come? Mi fai piangere per niente.
the difference between Lay's Wow potato chips and their favorite chips? Let's find out.
Wow.
Wow. You know they're fat-free. Only half the calories.
These are fat-free?
Talk to me, stock boy.
Wow.
Okay, sum it up 10 words or less.
Wow. Wow.
Wow, these are good. You know, wow is mom upside down. Bet you can't taste the difference.
Bet I can. Take the Wow Challenge yourself. Bet you can't taste the difference, or it's free.
What?
Wow.
Don and Cheech are ready for action. Don't miss Nash Bridges, CBS Friday.
Oh, aren't you glad the NFL's on CBS?
Oh, yeah.
Final 59 seconds, quarter number 3 from Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. And the Redskins now trailing by 21, 31-10. Blanchard kicks it off. Von Hebron waits for it and grabs it a yard deep. Hebron out to the 10, a flag, 2 flags are down. So we've got a couple of flags down, and so is Hebron. And here's Bill Carollo to let us know what happened. As soon as he's told. Yep.
We've got a couple of injuries down on the field, too. Vern, there's 2 of the Washington Redskins.
James Jenkins is one of them, number 88.
And Barber, the linebacker.
Number 28 on the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
And while they mark off the penalty, we're going to go back to New York. Here's an NFL update with Jim Nance.
Well, Vern and Randy, just 2 minutes ago in St. Louis. Yes, he's done it again. Mark McGwire with his 4th home run in 3 days. Number 69 is out of here. Sammy Sosa, by the way, 1 for 1 today with an RBI single. And let's go back to Washington.
All right, Jim, I think what Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa have done this year is, I'm thinking of someone who got his name wrong the other day. And now I did.
Yeah, the best thing about that whole deal is how positive it's made everybody feel about, and with all the other baloney, and this has been the capital of baloney and junk. With everything else that's been going on, everybody feels so good about that. If you're not even a baseball fan, if you're not even a sports fan, you feel good about those guys because those guys have been so fantastic. I mean, it's been a character thing about 2 really good people having an honest race.
Now let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, guys, Bubby Brister had a very brief baseball career. He was drafted right out of high school by the Detroit Tigers, and while he was in the minors, one of his managers was Jim Leland, currently with the Florida Marlins. And I asked Jim Leland about Brister's baseball talents. I'll tell you what he told me after this play.
We're going to let him throw the football or hand it off first. He's going to hand it off, and it goes to Terrell Davis. And let's go back to Michelle for the completion of the story.
Well, as I said, I asked Jim Leland for his assessment of Brister's baseball talent. His response was, quote, "I love Bubby, but he's playing football, isn't he?" Brister laughed at that and acknowledged he's glad he abandoned baseball in favor of going back to college to pick up football again. Back upstairs to you, Vern.
All right, Michelle, that was in 1982. He played for Jim Leland at St. Petersburg. I was laughing. Senator Ted Kennedy was trying to pay tribute to these 2 home run sluggers this year, and he referred publicly earlier in the week to Mike McGwire and Sammy Sosa. 31-10. Here's Bubby Brister. Ed McCaffrey makes another catch, and that'll be a first down for the Denver Broncos. But Brister, that's his left wrist or hand. May have hit his fingers on a helmet. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with our score. The Denver Broncos 31 and the Washington Redskins 10. We'll return to Jack Kent Cooke Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station.
Terrorists invade Washington.
We are prepared to die and take everyone with us.
Now the fate of America hangs in the balance. All new Jack, CBS Tuesday.
Learn the secrets of martial arts star Sammo Hung. Log on to CBS.com.
Sometimes the toughest decision is deciding when to make your move. If you've been waiting to refinance, make your move now with the new Ultimate 125 loan from First Plus. It lets you refinance up to 125% of the value of your home, no equity required, so you can consolidate bills and get extra cash all in one loan. Make your move count with the new Ultimate 125 only at First Plus.
Hey, son, get back here.
Call 1-800-510-PLUS.
20 years hard labor.
For jaywalking?
Make it 25 because I don't like your face.
I at least have a drink before I go, then?
Bailiff, bring him a glass of tepid tap water.
Have mercy, Your Honor.
You should have thought of that before you left the curb, you miscreant.
Well, how about a Red Bull energy drink, then, as a final request?
No, all right. Bailiff, bring him a Red Bull, whatever that is.
Thank you.
Now you've got a date with the big house. Take him away. I said, not that way. Hey!
Red Bull gives you
We can't pay these bills, John.
Prices are as low as when my dad started farming.
It's bad, all right.
Farmers are suffering because foreign markets have been closed to us, and our own government won't even help.
I've heard the Thompsons are going to have to quit farming after 4 generations.
I can't even bear to think about it.
Tell Congress we need a sound, strong trade policy for America's farmers.
Copter Ford traffic. You have to see it to believe it.
Broncos up by 21 as we get set for the start of the fourth quarter. Vern Lundquist, Randy Cross, Michelle Tafoya, and the last play.
Ow! Right there, Dana Stubblefield steps on Bubby Brister's left hand. You saw him wincing before he went away to commercial, and it's a lot of foot to be coming down on your left hand.
Bob Greasy's son, Brian Greasy, is the backup quarterback today, the third-round draft pick. Here's Terrell Davis. He's over 100 yards again today, third game in a row. You caught me, didn't you? I almost said that was Bob Greasy, didn't I?
The resemblance is striking, but not quite that striking. Now, and Mike Shanahan really loves that young quarterback out of Michigan. He's positive. You know, what you're seeing today may be the future of the Denver Broncos. Veteran quarterback and Bubby Brister being sort of a caretaker starter until Brian Greasy is ready to go as a starter. They think that much of him in Denver.
First down and 10. McCaffrey followed by Chris Dishman. Here's Bubby Brister going right and out of bounds on the carry. There's a flag up near the 39-yard line.
It's going to be defensive holding, I believe.
Yep.
Holding, number 26 on the defense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
And when teams get tired or people get beat and things get tough, people grab. That does not happen on the good teams.
What's worse than going on a diet? Well, going on a diet with your wife, it says here. See the new hit comedy the critics and audiences are raving about. The King of Queens, Monday at 8:30, 7:30 Central, right after Cosby, here on CBS. Dishman in the Pro Bowl last year, along with Darryl Green. And guilty of the holding call on the last play.
Notice who they haven't thrown at today is Darryl Green.
Haven't?
First 3 weeks, people went after Darryl Green off and on, and he told them why and taught them why they don't do that anymore.
Here's the handoff to Davis coming to the left side. Darryl Green misses the tackle on Terrell Davis. And Davis up to the 41. 9-yard gain.
Yeah, what makes Terrell Davis so dangerous is this play is supposed to go to the right side of the football field. And Darryl Green made the play, but he's so close. You don't go after Darryl Green, but here's why. He's all over. First McCaffrey, then Rod Smith. And his speed helped him on that last run support also because he was way inside and managed to push Terrell Davis out for that game.
16th year as a starter. 28th pick in the first round in 1983. A guy named Elway was picked first that year.
Well, Eric Brown is starting at safety for the Denver Broncos. He's the rookie starting for a defending Super Bowl champion. Darryl Green is the last rookie to start for a defending Super Bowl champion.
Mark Turner was saying about him, and I think we both agree that the day he retires, the clock starts ticking. And then 5 years later, he's going to walk onto a stage in Canton, Ohio.
Well, they were talking about Darryl Green being a Hall of Fame cornerback when guys like Joe Montana were still playing quarterback in this league. So he's been the sort of the mark everybody else measures their defensive players by. I mean, nowadays, see this number right here? The 0 sacks. 0 sacks is something that's different because of the style of defenses people are playing.
First down and 10, Denver. They're up 31-10. And the handoff goes to Terrell Davis, and he's near the 49-yard line. Or Derek LaVille, beg your pardon. as Davis gets a rest.
And this is what you're going to see out of the Denver Broncos the rest of the way. They are a well-conditioned football team. Conditioning is not a factor for Mike Shanahan's team. You run the ball and you pound it at the other guys and you completely wear them down and take the football game out of them.
Remember what he told us yesterday in the offseason workout program? 36 players on the Broncos did not miss a scheduled workout.
And 19 of them only missed one. So it's incredible what great shape this team is in such good shape. You'd think they weren't the defending champ. They were the ones that got beaten.
Brister chased by Kennard Lang and has to throw it away.
But it was past the line of scrimmage. The crowd wants grounding, but the ball went past the line of scrimmage. One more time. See the line of scrimmage right here about the 49-yard line. And a short little boot out, just a quick roll. He's getting the quick pressure in his face from Kennard Lang, but he gets rid of that ball and he makes sure it goes far enough.
Bobby Brister, 14 of 20 for the day, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. 3rd and 7. Brister wings it left side. Darryl Pounds, number 31, knocks it away. It'll be 4th down. It was intended for Willie Green. So with 11:52 remaining in this one, the Redskins are going to get it back, but they trail 31-10. Denver playing the teams in the NFC East this year. They're back home in Mile High next week against Philadelphia.
Interesting note, too, Mike Shanahan in his brief career as a head coach between Denver and the Raiders, but especially with Denver, had never won a game on the road against an NFC East team. He's yet to win this one, but he's getting awfully close.
Tom Ruin, wow, sails it, and on one hop, it goes through the crossbar. 50-yard punt, nothing on the return. A one-hopper for Tom Ruin. 11 minutes and 42 seconds left in regulation. The Broncos lead by 21.
I remember when I took my driving test. Everyone was so sure I would pass. I was already a local racing champion, the pride of my village. Everything went perfectly, but just as I opened the door, at that moment, I realized what I had to do. Drive cars with no doors.
When we created NFL Game Day 99, we used playbooks straight from the NFL teams. Denver's power running attack, Pittsburgh's zone blitz, all the team's special secrets. Entire franchises trust us with their most cherished possessions. Naturally, we keep them under strict lock and key.
Jackpot. Terrell, how we getting down?
PlayStation.
55. What'll it be?
We'll take some rice and...
Get some farf, too.
Yeah.
Now you can choose which teams you see every Sunday with DirecTV and NFL Sunday Ticket. There's up to 13 regular season games a week.
Price check on farf.
Hey, Brett. Hey, John.
So stock up on all your favorites. NFL Sunday Ticket. It's not on cable. See it on DirecTV. So what are you looking at?
Attention shoppers. Now get $200 worth of programming when you get DirecTV.
When Ray's dad takes the wheel, no one is safe.
It was in my blind spot.
A 20-car funeral procession?
And all new Everybody Loves Raymond CBS Monday.
Broncos lead at 31-10. They were up 17-7 at halftime, scored in their first 2 possessions of the 3rd quarter. Now the Bronco defense on the field as Trent Green. Catch is made short at the 24-yard line, and Glenn Cadrez makes the tackle on Terry Allen. Well, coming up next Sunday, the NFL on CBS. Most of you will see Miami against the New York Jets. That one up in New York at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Some of you will watch the Oakland-Arizona game. That gets a 4 o'clock Eastern time start. That's the NFL on CBS next Sunday afternoon.
A lot of people out in this league, I think, want to see how good that Miami defense is. We saw them last week. I happen to think they're pretty good.
2nd down and 6, and a fumble. Let's see who got it. It would appear the Broncos have recovered, yes. 2 interceptions and now a fumble. And for the 4th consecutive game, the Washington Redskins have turned it over 3 times.
You know, as Norv Turner's team sort of trips down the yellow brick road here on the way to Oz, we see the exchange here between Raymer and Trent Green. As they move down this yellow brick road, you can't quite figure out who's with Dorothy, the one that needs the heart or the one that needs the brain.
That is the 4th fumble by Trent Green since he became a starter. This his 3rd start. And the fumble on the exchange with Corey Raymer. 12 giveaways now by the Redskins. The Broncos, in contrast, this season have lost 1 fumble and had 1 pass interception. Backs are split. Brister. Handoff goes to Derek LaVille, who stays on the field offensively. Well, we not only have the NFL for you on CBS next Sunday, on Saturday, the NASDAQ College football game will feature 4th-ranked Tennessee. The Volunteers go south to take on Auburn. That's Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern Time here on CBS.
You think they're still celebrating in Knoxville by beating Florida?
Yeah. Yeah, the sudden death game. I know Phil Fulmer is 2nd down, 11. Rod Smith in motion wide right. Brister rolls that direction, pulls up, lets it go. And it's bobbled and almost caught by Ed McCaffrey, but it goes incomplete. Darrell Green was defending.
Well, if you have any question as to whether or not Bubby Brister has a very powerful arm, can he put enough zip and heat on a ball to get it into a tight spot into a defense? How would you like to be on the other end of this thing? I mean, that is what's known in baseball as a high-rising fastball, and Rod Smith ain't got a prayer.
Bubby Brister was a pitcher in baseball in high school. They made him a shortstop when he was with the St. Petersburg team. He also spent time with Bristol in the Appalachian League. He said that was awful.
That was his first hint that maybe football was in his future.
Right. Here's Brister, and he drills it to Shannon Sharp, who breaks the tackle and gets to the 10. Stanley Richard and Greg Evans, numbers 24 and 27, get there, but Sharp, the tight end, with a 15-yard gain.
There's so much burn in this football game, just in general for the players, is the want to, having the smarts of being in the right spot, and when you're in the right spot, wanting to make the play and not allowing yourself to be taken down. By Shannon Sharp, and for a long time, Shannon Sharp has done the right things in this NFL. Interestingly here, though, Vern, only 1 guy in that group, Kellen Winslow, those great tight ends, is in the Hall of Fame.
Here's the handoff to LaVille. He comes to the left, spins, and is down at the 5-yard line. Darrell Green with a tackle. We may have seen the last of Terrell Davis for the day, and Green a little slow getting up. What an admirable man he is, Darrell Green, on and off the field. A javelina, remember that? Texas A&I in Kingsville.
Now Texas A&M.
Right.
Talked to him about that before the game. He kind of shook his head. It still doesn't sound right.
2nd down and 4, 31-10. We've reached the 9-minute mark. Time remaining here in the 4th quarter. Backs in the eye. LaVille comes left. Griffith blocking. He cuts back, spins, drives, and is down at the 1. It will be 3rd down. Marcus Patton and Derek Smith make the tackle this time. Well, the Broncos about to score again and salt this one. 31-10 they lead. They will equal San Francisco as the only teams in the 90s to go to a 4-0 start in defense of a Super Bowl championship. Now, you've been through that. How tough is that to defend, and what happens on a weekly basis?
I tell you, it's extremely difficult. It's a lot of pressure because, you know, as Mike Shanahan pointed out to us last night, you get everybody's best every single week. It was so smart the way he's handled the offseason in general. He made it a football conditioning offseason, and his team has come back so hungry. As you see the Broncos get that 1st down inside the 1-yard line. This team has come back so hungry, like I said just a little while ago, you would swear talking to them and being around these players and coaches that they were the team that lost the Super Bowl last year, and they're motivated by failure. I mean, it's very admirable, and it's very remarkable of what he's done.
Redskins 12 turnovers resulted in 52 points, and Darrell Green on the sideline.
Coming into this game, 10 teams in the league hadn't given up 45 points as a team, much less off turnover.
Touchdown, Denver. Derek LaVille gets his first of 1998.
Make that 59 points off of turnovers so far in 1998. The first run by Derek LaVille was a lot of want to. Got him down to that 2-foot line or so to get the first down. Here it's a great job by the offensive line. Look at Tony Jones, big number 77. Give LaVelle that great hole to get into. Just wonderful execution as LaVelle is congratulated there by Gary Kubiak, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach of the Broncos.
Jason Elam with the extra point. John Elway is going to enjoy the rest of this and then have a nice trip back to the Mile High City.
Every man has a mountain to climb.
What part of Russia is he from, anyway?
Krebs, what are you doing shooting?
Krebs, you're here to rebound. Just stay out of the way.
Krebs! Yo, coach, you gotta get this Krebs guy out of here. Krebs. I know how to spell. I'm from here. Man, you are terrible, terrible.
You want to get somewhere, then work it, then work it.
What mountain did you climb today? What beer was there at the top?
Buy your beer. Okay. I have Coors Light. That's C-O-O-R-S.
Coors Light. Frost brewed. Rocky Mountain cold.
Honda recommends you rotate every 7,500 miles.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Coors Light, Staples, and by Honda.
Jefferson Memorial in downtown Washington, D.C. We're about 12-15 miles to the east in Raljon, Maryland, Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. And Jason Elam getting ready to kick it deep to Brian Mitchell. Mitchell comes right, takes it 2 yards into the end zone, and will bring it out. Which he does to the 25-yard line, and the Redskins will take over. But they trail 38-10 with 8 minutes and 6 seconds left in regulation. Broncos about to go 4-0. Redskins 0-4.
Linda. No, up here. Why waste time checking office supply prices? You know you'll always get guaranteed low prices at Staples.
Thanks. Candy?
Thank you. Ooh, caramel. Oh.
Staples has guaranteed low prices on everything for your office, like binders for 68 cents. Want great prices? Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on the sesame seed. Bun.
Get back with Big Mac and win. Peel off the timepiece ticket on a medium or a large soft drink or a Big Mac, and you could win then and now prizes like a 68 VW Beetle from then and a 98 VW New Beetle from now. Win both. So get up and get down to McDonald's, you dig?
I don't remember any of this, but it's fun.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
For a Pentium 2 processor.
Monday, you
heard of Doc Hollywood now. Meet the real Hollywood docs.
It's the new hit drama of the season.
You want to get together for margaritas?
Okay.
Bring me some Viagra samples.
See why L.A. Doctors is a different kind of medicine.
I was being directed by my higher power.
Would that be Armani or Hugo Boss?
L.A. Doctors on the new CBS Monday.
Broncos lead at 38-10 with 8:06 to go in the fourth quarter. They will go 4-0 and Washington 0-4. This one is remarkably reminiscent of the Redskins home game on Monday night against the 49ers.
It really is. They're making mistakes against a good football team, and they're paying for it. It's just really terrible to look at what this football team is doing as far as the mistakes they're making and what they're really not getting an opportunity to do. But here they do.
Westbrook from Green. Touchdown.
There's a flag down around the 40-yard line, but I think it's going to be defensive pass interference or holding.
75 yards if the play stands. Trent Green, Michael Westbrook. They hooked up for 2 last week.
Interference, number 21. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, a touchdown.
Now, there's a leap of faith if I've ever seen one. They need a lot more than that.
It's a nice executed late play by the Washington Redskins because Trent Green, now you can appreciate why this young man's got the yards he does. But at this point, at 38, now almost 17 against the defending Super Bowl champions, a big play like this is just sort of like putting earrings on a pig.
And calling it Peggy Sue. 38-16. And the Redskins might be going for 2 here. 75 yards, Green to Westbrook.
If they had a shot, they'd go for 22 here.
Yeah. Greg Robinson, defensive coordinator of the Broncos, 7:56 to go.
His defense, Greg Robinson's defense, was caught a little bit surprised, a little flat-footed by the fact that they were going for 2.
Broncos call time to get their right alignment on the field. We'll be back in a moment.
License Peter Lynch, the fidelity guy. I could overlook some very tedious paperwork for a hot stock tip.
Buying what's hot without doing your research is not investing. It's gambling.
Oh, really?
Here's a tip. Call Fidelity. They'll help you figure out what's right for you.
For your free investing guide, call 1-800-FIDELITY or visit fidelity.com.
Thanks, Hotshot. Watch your fingers.
Let's say Spider-Man is like Castrol Syntec motor oil. And this is a harmful particle in your engine. Get the point? You see, Syntec's patented stabilizers seek out and neutralize harmful particles, protecting in ways other oils can't. Castrol Syntec, the active lubricant.
Introducing a sports sedan that sets a new standard of performance and a touring sedan that sets a new standard of luxury. Here they are. Introducing the new TL with the satellite-linked navigation system from Acura.
What possessed this young man to turn his back and say nothing when he saw his best friend assaulting a little girl, who his friend minutes later raped and murdered? Let him tell you tonight on 60 Minutes.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Fidelity Investments and by Castrol Syntec.
More than half-empty stadium, Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. Most of the folks have headed out to the parking lots, but they're going to miss the Washington Redskins' first 2-point conversion of the season. Matter of fact, in the last 2 years, Ryan Mitchell is the deep back. Leslie Shepard in motion. Here's Green into the end zone, incomplete. So the score remains 38-16 Broncos with 8 minutes, just under 8 minutes to go.
You know, on that long touchdown play, though, from Trent Green to Michael Westbrook, Take a look at this view. It's a great example. Look at Trent Green being able to watch all the way down the field his wide receiver, Michael Westbrook, win that pushing contest on the sideline, get the ball, go for 6. You know what? Trent Green is properly restrained. No jumping up and down, no celebrating. He's got that look in his face like, okay, it worked. It's not enough, but it worked.
Westbrook gets his 3rd touchdown catch in the last 2 games and 3 quarters. 38-16. Well, I have a feeling that many of the Redskin fans have given up in disgust at this, but a lot of the Bronco fans and people who live back in the Colorado area are watching with continued interest, among whom I happen to know watching this afternoon is Hall of Famer Doak Walker, former Heisman Trophy winner who was critically injured and paralyzed in a skiing accident back in January in Steamboat Springs. Doak is back home in Steamboat, still paralyzed, but I know that Doak and his wife Skeeter are watching this game, and we're thinking about you. Here's Blanchard's kick, and that one is through the end zone. Well, that's interesting. The one knock on Kerry was his short kickoffs. Now let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, you know, Vern, I spoke with Kerry Blanchard before the game, and he told me he felt no pressure coming into this game. He said he felt more pressure being unemployed than he does being the 3rd kicker in this young season for the Redskins. If he had one concern, it was that until today he hadn't kicked off in 4 years. He says his hang time is there, and he'd been working on kicking the ball deeper, which it looks like it's paying off, guys.
That's right, Michelle. That's because when he was with Indianapolis, Chris Gardocki did all the kickoffs.
Well, he's obviously worked on his leg strength, but I know one thing he hasn't worked on too much. Sit-ups.
Oh, dear. 1st and 10. Griffith and LaVille in the backfield. Terrell Davis done with 119 yards for the afternoon. And Davis scored on a 42-yard touchdown romp. Marcus Patton with that tackle. Coming up next Sunday, Week 5 of the NFL on CBS. Most of you will see Miami versus the New York Jets. That's the early game. Some of you will see the Oakland-Arizona game at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. The NFL on CBS next Sunday.
And I'm sure in the NFL today, what you'll see before those games, chances are you'll see Dan Marino in the Meadowlands torturing the New York Jets on that one, you know, so-called down the ball, throws it, gets a touchdown. Ooh, I'm betting the early line says that plays somewhere early.
Yeah. 2nd down and 3. Dana Stubblefield makes the tackle. Tony Jones, left tackle, who occupies the spot, played with such excellence for so many years by Gary Zimmerman.
And they're working on his right knee. Wears that knee brace on that leg, and you see the ice towels and everything else. You've seen a lot of people here today so far getting up slow, being attended to, and you're seeing a lot of cramping, I believe, guys, in this heat, in this condition. And despite what great shape a lot of these Bronco players are, you can't help but get cramps when it gets this hot, and it is humid out here.
6:25 to go in regulation. McCaffrey comes in motion. Brister tosses it out to LaVille. He's got Dan Neal in front. Number 62, LaVille stopped on 3rd down. It'll be 4th as Kennard Lang and Derek Smith make the tackles.
You mentioned Gary Zimmerman. It's before the game sitting talking to Jeff Bostic, former center and for the Washington Redskins, and Mark Schlereth was there, and we started joking around about Zimmerman, and he smiles and says, well, actually, I heard Zimmerman's got himself a personal trainer. He started working out again. I'd heard that before, but
no, he's out there. He's out there in Bend, Oregon.
Hey, 9 more games. They're going to look like they're going to win another Super Bowl. He might want to make a comeback.
Absolutely. Here's Tom Ruin. This one will be, well, it could be returned. Yes, it will be. Here's Brian Mitchell on one hop. Flags are down. Mitchell run out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
That was just for exercise. This penalty is going to be against the Washington Redskins. It's going to be illegal use of hands or holding. And it'll be about a 50-yard difference between where he ended up and where this ball is going to be.
Illegal block in the back. Number 25 on the return team. 10-yard penalty. Receivers will keep the ball, 1st down.
Sometimes these penalties are somewhere you can barely see it. Well, can you figure this one out? Do you think maybe Tim Denton might have had just a little bit of a push into Darius Johnson's back?
After the penalty, the ball at the 16-yard line. Bubby Brister. First start since 1995. He was telling us last night he can throw the ball as hard as John Elway. It's the other stuff. The recognition, defensive patterns, who's going to be where, 1 deep, 2 deep, 3 deep, cover 3, so on.
Plus the accuracy involved.
Yeah.
John Elway and Dan Marino are the only quarterbacks in the NFL that throw their body parts. Maybe Steve Young.
But that one incomplete to Terry Allen.
And they throw to specific parts. I mean, in that case, Frank Green just threw that ball to Terry Allen. Marino, Young, Elway, they throw that ball to the left wristband of Terry Allen to give him a chance to catch the ball. And that's the difference between the great Hall of Fame quarterbacks like a John Elway and Bubby Brister's a very good quarterback. But, you know, there's that natural ability. And Bubby's the first guy to say, I stand there in practice all the time saying, how does he do that?
Second down and 10. Alexander starts in motion to the left. Here's Green back. Goes left for Alexander. And that's good out to the 25-yard line. It'll be third down coming up. Keith Burns, number 56, makes the stop. Turner was talking about Elway with us last night. He said he remembered when Norv Turner, was on the staff at Southern California when John came out of high school. They recruited him. John decided to go to Stanford. His rookie year, he's playing Southern California. They have a couple of defensive backs named Dennis Smith and Ronnie Lott. Elway threw it 70 yards over Ronnie Lott into the end zone. Said it wasn't the length of the pass that was so astounding. It was the speed with which it was delivered.
They almost knocked Ken Marjoram, his receiver, over in the end zone with the ball from 70 yards away. And it hasn't lost much velocity on that gun either.
Prior to the snap, ball starts, right guard, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
That is the 8th penalty on the Redskins this afternoon.
That went against Rod Milstead. And, you know, Terrell Davis, we sort of closed the case on him, another 100-yard day. But Terrell Davis so far in 4 games, 489 yards rushing for the Denver Broncos. Any questions on what drives the Denver Broncos? A quick, aggressive defense, and that gentleman right there. 21 carries, 119 yards.
Third down. Buried him. Back at the 7-yard line. Mike Lodish, number 97, got the sack. The 3rd sack today for the Broncos.
Hey, I might mention another gentleman playing in the NFL out of UCLA, Mike Lodish, number 97, with a quick rip on Corey Raymer. The center gets in there for his part of a sack. Yeah, I spent a lot of time this week reading a lot of material about a lot of people and a lot of football teams and what people thought about this Washington Redskins team. A lot of reputable folks out there in our business and in the coaching industry thought this team could win the NFC East. The NFC East is not a terrible enough division that this team can win the NFC East.
Whoa. Here's Darian Gordon at the 31 now. Good block supplied by the Broncos, and Darian Gordon back to the 45-yard line, a 57-yard punt and 14 on the return. Well, back on June 16th last summer, the Denver Broncos visited the White House and President Bill Clinton to celebrate their victory in Super Bowl 32. Terrell Davis and the Broncos presented the president with his own Denver Broncos jersey. See owner Pat Bowen looking on. Mike Shanahan to the president's right. Now, among those who did not make that trip was this guy, John Elway. Said he had to have an MRI. Played a little golf at Inverness Country Club that day and caught a little flack back in Denver for that.
Well, you know, John Elway and his entire team and organization from Pat Bowen on down, though, is acting like they want to go back. They like that experience so much, those that made it, they would like to do it again.
1st and 10. Brister, are you kidding me?
No, that was not called.
I didn't think so.
Because without a doubt, the most shocked person in the world when he turned around was Bubby Brister, that there was no running back to hand that ball to.
Gary Kubiak, the last man to win a game for the Denver Broncos other than John Elway. That was in 1989 here.
Yeah, right here at old RFK Stadium. You know, Kubiak's been mentioned this week, actually, as a possible candidate for that new Cleveland job that'll be opened up next year. There's a lot of people that will be considered. You know, the obvious, George Seifert from the studio. They're talking Holmgren. You know, people like Kippy Brown in Miami, Sherman Lewis in Green Bay. The list will grow significantly.
There's the handoff to Von Hebron, and he is stopped by Marcus Patton. Today's overhead coverage, courtesy of the Goodyear blimp Stars and Stripes. This year, Goodyear celebrating its 100-year anniversary and the 72nd consecutive year for its blimp operation.
It sounds like this thing right here ought to have like a little motor in it.
Yeah. You been in the blimp?
No. No, there are certain things you will never see me do, and that is right there near the top of the list. They ain't got wings on it. They have jet engines on it. I'm not getting on it.
You've just about assured yourself of an invitation now. Here's Brister to Von Hebron. And Hebron is down at the 49-yard line.
Well, they better bring security and sedatives. They think they're getting my big back end. Watch Bobby Brister now. He is getting some serious heat here. The Redskins are bringing it, and they're bringing it hard. But look what he's doing right here. I mean, he gets bent over from the legs. He gets bent over from the back. You got Williams, the safety, was in on that blitz, and he's had people more than a couple times grabbing onto him and holding him when he's throwing these footballs.
We have reached the 2-minute warning in Washington, D.C. Bobby Brister and the Broncos are going to fly home with an unblemished record. A couple of minutes from now, they'll be 4-0 in 1998.
I should have listened to my mother.
When you're lost, the accurate TL can help.
Destination on the left.
There's gotta be a place that's still open.
No.
Yes, there.
You're kidding. When a craving strikes, the TL can help. And when something comes between you and your destination, hospital, detour, the TL will get you there.
Keep right.
Introducing the new TL with the satellite-linked navigation system from Acura.
I always tell my clients, start with a joke.
And the squirrel said, I don't even like nuts.
See, it's about comedy, not content. You know, people think the Kinkos will help them stand out because they can do anything in color. Give them the full color polish. Whoopee. Color's not funny. Look, you are creating an indelible image in your prospect's mind.
Kinko's, great news for small business, bad news for Maury.
Lemmings. That's all they are. Lemmings.
Ship your package in 2 days with FedEx. And you'll run into 7 different price zones.
Ship your package in 2 days with UPS. And you'll run into 7 different price zones.
Ship your package in 2 to 3 days with Priority Mail. And there's just one price zone.
So, what's your priority? Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Cosby's finally giving his house guests the heave-ho.
I want you out. I want you out.
Cosby.
Get out, get out, get out.
An all-new episode, CBS Monday.
38-16, Broncos lead it. They will be 4-0 and head back home for a home game against Philadelphia. And then 2 weeks from now, they get a test out in the Kingdome against Seattle. There's Tom Ruin on the punt. And for the Washington Redskins, an all too familiar pattern. They totaled a lot of yards and a lot of turnovers in the first half and then had the fall aparts in the second half, and they're going to lose this one big. That one into the end zone. Touchback will come back out to the 20. Tonight on CBS begins with television's #1 news magazine, 60 Minutes. Then it's Touched by an Angel, TV's most inspirational drama. And the CBS Sunday night movie, Forever Love, starring Reba McEntire. There's only one place to be on Sunday nights, right here on CBS. And there's a blimp shot of an exit. Folks heading out.
And they're using every single one of them they can find here at the new Jack King Cook Stadium.
Yeah, troubled times for the Redskins. They're going to go 0-4, the worst record. They could equal it next week against Dallas. An 0-5 start, 1981 in Joe Gibbs' first year. Here's Green across the middle. This one was close at the half. 17-7, Redskins going in. Trevor Price after Keith Traylor pressured Trent Green, intercepted a pass to end that drive, and then Denver ran away with it in the second half.
What makes it also surprising, too, for the Washington Redskins is the last couple of years they've seemed to be kind of an injury away from being in the situations to see one of the flags down on the field on that last play. You know, they've had a couple injuries, so they've only been 8-7-1. They've had a couple of 8-6-1. They've had a couple of injuries, so they've been, 9-7. They've been just almost there. They went out and spent a lot of money this offseason on some defensive tackles, and Norv Turner and company has not seen much of it.
Illegal formation. 6 men in the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
We put together a little list on Washington expenditures. I personally kind of like the toilet seat for $1,250, but from there down, it's kind of hard to pick out which one they've gotten the least bang for the buck out of. This has been a problem. This is where you should get more plays out of the center of your defense. They have not gotten it.
3rd down and 8. Green goes deep. Double, triple coverage, as a matter of fact, and it's incomplete, intended for James Jenkins. And Tyrone Braxton was back to defend. Don't forget the NFL Today postgame show with Jim, Marcus, Brent, and George. Scores and highlights from all the scores around the league. I think you might have seen the final. Oakland knocks off Dallas in Dallas today.
Well, Oakland is a surprising football team because you're never quite sure who's going to show up. They got a lot of dog in them, but suddenly some weeks that dog turns into tiger.
Transformation I'd pay to watch,
because they were some barking Jessies last week against Denver.
The word hot was there, wasn't it? Here's Matt Turk with a heck of a punt inside the 10, and it limps to a stop at the 9-yard line. That's a 69-yard punt, but small comfort for Turk and the Redskins. 38-16 with a minute to go. And the Redskins back on the field. There's Matt Turk.
Yeah, there's just something doesn't seem right about not having a good football team in the nation's capital in Washington. Just seem all those years of watching Mr. Cook and that great outdoor box he had with the array of political and entertainment stars just sitting out there, and the hail of the Redskins being played by the band, and the stands in the fort on the other side of the field bouncing up and down, and Joe Gibbs' football team just dominating a lot of people. The old smash mouth NFC East days. Just does not seem that this picture and this team fits.
On the other side of this ball, the Denver Broncos wearing the crown kite quite comfortably.
And they've done this without John Elway. Decides just for the game not to play. Bobby Brister comes in, does a very good job of leading the football team. The keys were threefold actually. Washington mistakes, Terrell Davis running the ball, and Mike Shanahan has got a good, aggressive, opportunistic defense.
Broncos run it well behind Terrell Davis. They throw it well behind Bubby Brister. They do not turn it over at all again today. The Denver Broncos win it by a count of 38-16. The NFL Today postgame show with Jim, Marcus, Brent, and George coming up. Mike Shanahan, Norv Turner, both of them 46 years of age, the one aging a little more gracefully than the other right now. .38-16 is the final.